I am Anissa the assassin Zamarron. In the beginning, when I first started boxing, they didn't want to market women at all, you know, so the little publicity that I got, you know, I think it was just because, you know, I was just known as an entertaining fighter. Mm-hmm. Or I was the first one to ever fight, you know, in this city or this state or this country. When I decided to go pro, it happened really fast. It was like in a week's time they said, hey, you want to go to New York and turn pro? And it's like, okay, cool. You know, so my brother at the time, I think when you add the word professional, he would thought that, oh my God, you're going to be fighting women that have been doing it for years, not knowing that at that time it was like the amateur and the pro were all at the same level, so you might as well go make some money. That was kind of me and Richard's deal, you know. And we were having a hard time getting fights anyway, you know, here in town, so you had to travel to fight. So my brother thought that, you know, because it was professional, that you're not ready for that, you know. And I think he even called Richard, you know, and said, what the hell is, you know, what's going on, you know. And I think Richard assured him she's ready, she'll be fine, you know. And then after they saw me when I fought here in town a couple of times, they were like, all right, she's got this.
I had a feeling that she could go a long way in boxing because she had a real strong work ethic and she had a real mean streak in her. She was very dedicated. She always showed up. She'd work out longer and harder than 95% of the guys that were doing it competitively.
In this gym, we had like a bunch of women fighters. We were just always working so hard to get the respect that we felt that we deserved. I don't think we actually sat down and said, hey, you know, we need to really do this. It wasn't really something that was in conversation, but I think we all, for me anyway, it was more of a personal thing, you know, because, you know, we all wanted to, you know, be the next Christy Martin or the Layla Ali. We all wanted to get that. And so we were all working really hard, and just to get, you know, respect from just the other guys in the gym at that time. It was like when we were on the bus going, our opponents and everything, we were all kind of a team, you know, we were all kind of fighting for the same thing underneath, even though it was, we were kind of against each other a little bit.
Yeah, dude. As far as the world of women's boxing, I think she was a front runner. There wasn't any guidelines on what we needed, where we were going or what we were going to do. Right. But everywhere we went, it was like the first time most people had seen female boxing. And because she was so proficient and so efficient in her boxing, and she boxes, you know, a lot of people consider her a female Joe Frazier.
At some point I thought I would tell my story. And then when I started getting injured, and I kind of realized that, you know, I probably wasn't gonna be able to do this forever, that I thought, you know, it might be time for that. I think I always knew that I wanted to write a book. I just wanted to make sure that I was in the right place for the book. So, and I thought, well, you know, I got some time to kill, I'm not training anymore. So that's when I started, you know, thinking more seriously about, you know, writing the book. And we actually had some authors in here, and I just kind of actually went up to Kip one day and I just said, you know, hey, you know, I'm interested in writing a book, you know, and he was like, well, what kind of book is it? And I was telling him, you know, everything that went down. He goes, well, that's actually my expertise is personal stories. So, and then it just kind of took off really fast from there. It just kind of boom, boom. I knew from the get-go to do this book in the way that I wanted, I was going to have to get personal, because I wanted people for them to see me who I was, and also because anybody could end up where I was, you know, and you know, there's a lot of things I think I wanted women to know, because I said a lot of things, oh, I would never do that, oh, I would never do that, probably, but for whatever reason you find yourself in that predicament, and I wanted people to see me as a person as they see me now, as like, you know, you wouldn't even think that I'd been locked up in mental institutions, but and to see that, yeah, I came from there to here. So I didn't want people to read the book and just think that it's just about some crazy person.
Right.
You know, I wanted them to see that, you know, things happen to people.
You visited my Mexican-American women's history class, and the students had read the book. A lot of my students felt that your mother had really let you down, that she, if not the cause, certainly contributed to a lot of the challenges you faced. What was your relationship like with her then, and what's it like now?
Then it was definitely different. I think, I wouldn't say she was disappointed, but I think when, you know, she had 2 boys before me, so I think she really wanted that little cheerleader girl, you know, like all moms kind of dream of, and she got me. A lot of it wasn't that she was so much this horrible witch. I think she just didn't understand it, as like a lot of people didn't understand. The school just didn't understand that. I didn't even understand it. You know, I thought I invented cutting. Like I said before, I had no idea other people did it. You know, so I think it was just kind of like, she didn't know what she was dealing with, you know, and so I don't really put too much, you know, blame on her for not handling it the perfect way. She didn't have any training, you know, you got me, you know, so I don't think that, you know, she just did the best she could. And then now, I mean, we're close, you know, I don't blame her. I think when you're a kid, you tend to see your parents as these superheroes. You know, they're not human, they can do anything, they know everything. And once you grow up and you realize that they're just regular human beings, you tend to respect them as a human being. You're like, you know, I don't know if I would do any different if I was in her exact situation with a kid like me.
I think that boxing enabled her to work through a lot of her challenges. And I think that boxing was probably the most efficient therapy that she could have, and still does, as do a lot of the other folks that come in here. And I'm amazed at how many people do this for therapy. She was doing it ultimately for competition, but it was very therapeutic in the process.
I fought for my first world title here. And I was actually a little nervous. This was actually my first main event here in Austin at the Brawl, and I was so worried, you know, that nobody was going to go. Yeah, is anybody going to go? You know, that it's a female, you know, being the main event. But we practically, it was weird because I was in the dressing room and I was getting ready, and I wasn't even getting ready, I was just kind of hanging out, and I was kind of worried. My brother came in, he goes, man, this place is kind of filling up. You know, I remember Richard just being excited, man, because I think we're selling out, you know? It was pretty cool. Who's this girl? Oh, Yvonne Caples. This is in Guam. This was the poster when we fought in Guam. We were the very first women's boxing match in Guam. We fought in their field house, or some military field house down there. Yeah. So that was cool. This is like all our women fighters on here. Yep. As that's Melinda. That was Lisa. Star. There's Linda. She was really good. Your friend Snowdine. These girls they're pretty tough. There's Lori, of course. Yeah. She was my weight. She was one of my main sparring partners, Richard's wife. You know, she got me through getting me ready for all my fights. These girls were a little bit bigger. They used to get mad because they weren't really allowed to punch me back because they were bigger. So I could punch them. They hated it.
She was very highly regarded in the boxing world, not just the women side, but the guys that were seeing her do it were amazed, and she always prevailed. It's usually, if not always, her fight was always the best fight on the card, and usually she was the only female on the card, so that always helped out. And I think that it helped to progress female boxing and acceptance because of her performance and because she was so efficient.
What do you want readers to take away from the book?
Mainly, I want them to take away that, you know, if they're going through something that, you know, I was going through, that, you know, mainly that they're not alone, because I thought that, like, I thought I was the only one in the world that did that. I didn't think anybody would understand. And also I want them to think that they can do whatever they want to do. I mean, if they're letting women fight now, I mean, that's pretty cool. You know, I mean, they can do whatever you want. Don't ever, just because it's not invented yet, you know, or a woman hasn't done it yet, doesn't mean it can't be done, you know, or that you can't push forward to get it done. And also, don't ever think that they're alone, that they're the only woman that's, is going through this, because it's not true. Because most women go through a lot of things, and they do the exact same things. It's just nobody talks about it, And just don't be shy or intimidated. Just be who you are. If you like boxing and you like doing all that, do it. Don't do it because your mom says girls don't do that. Most Mexicans mom, well, girls just don't do that. Girls are supposed to be proper and make tortillas. That's not true. We can do both. I don't know how to make tortillas, but I mean I can do other things.
Yeah.